on to our speaker, who is Elizabeth Mays. Elizabeth is an instructor and career coach. She has an extensive background, and they all work together. I was intrigued by her background and how it flows from one position to the next to allow her to do what she does today very effectively. She was in theater performance. She has 2 master's degrees, which is amazing. I barely got through my master's degree, so I'm really impressed by that, in English and linguistics. She's been teaching adults for 10 years, and she's part of the ACC jobs team as an educator, helping people find, get, and keep great jobs. Elizabeth's topic today is New Year, New Career, New Year's resolutions for career management. Again, please turn on your cameras and welcome Elizabeth.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. So great to meet all of you. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I was so thrilled to be asked to come and present today. So I'm going to get my presentation up. Boom. There we go. So yes, new year, new career. Picked it because it rhymes. And what it could be better than having the opportunity once a year to make this rhyme, right? So hi, yes, my name is Elizabeth Mays, and my pronouns are they, them, and she, her, whichever I hit you with is fine. Today I'm going to be talking about how to refresh your energy for the new year. I know that whether you're brand new on the job market or you've been doing this for a little while, it can take a lot of energy. And so learning how to build that energy and also to control that energy is a great way to keep yourself moving through however long the process is going to take for you to get that career that you're dreaming of. I'm also going to talk a little bit about some techniques to refresh your materials for the new year. So working on your resume, working on your interview skills, and kind of looking at them with new eyes and adding in some new things. We're going to set an intention for 2022 for our careers, whether it's that you're looking to change careers or to move forward with what you're already in. And we're going to set some SMART goals. So today is going to be a little bit workshop-y. We're going to be actually working on materials. So open up a document on the side, or get a piece of paper and pencil if that's what you like to work with, because we're actually going to be doing some hands-on work today. And whether or not you can want to share your video is fine with me. I don't mind either way. Do it if you want to, don't if you don't. I'm going to take a minute and look at all you on my little side screen here and see how beautiful you are, all just gorgeous. Love all the books, Curtis and Jeff. You know those trophies. I want them all. They are amazing. So thanks for the introduction. Wow, who needs an elevator pitch when you get a full introduction? That was pretty great. But I'm going to take a moment to give you my elevator pitch, which I'm honestly still working on, even having been working in career services for almost a year. It's still something that I'm working on. And I'd love it if you guys could type up your elevator pitch to share in the chat, or if you're one of those extroverts like me, or just really need the practice, we can take turns coming on the mic to give our elevator pitches just to kind of.
Elizabeth, you're on mute. Let me see if I can take her off.
Why am I being muted? Don't mute me.
No, you were on mute, so we unmuted you.
Good.
Sorry about that.
Don't be muting me. Don't you dare. So my name is Elizabeth Mays. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her. I help people find, get, and keep great jobs as a career coach at Austin Community College. I teach a class called Strategies for Today's Jobs, which is a comprehensive job seekers course that I love because our course's focus is helping to create more equity by helping people who face external barriers overcome those. That's our main focus of the program. Although anyone is welcome, even you cishet white men who have all the advantages, you're also welcomed in my course. I have a decade of experience teaching English to speakers of other languages. I have a master's in English and in ESOL. And what I love about my work is that I get to empower people with the tools they need to reach their goals. So that's my a little bit too long elevator pitch that I am still working on. Would any of you feel comfortable sharing your elevator pitch today to kind of kick us off?
I would be.
Do it.
So my elevator pitch, my short one is I help people find jobs at Launchpad Job Club, and I am a career and business coach.
Great. Very much succinct, right? You've got
Mhm.
what you do. I have no questions about what you do. Who else would like to give a little bit of a pitch?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was about to,
Yes.
I was about to
Wonderful,
nominate
wonderful.
you, Jeff.
Thank you. All right.
All right, Jeff,
So-
let's hear it.
For those who didn't hear, I guess I pitched just before the meeting, but my name is Jeff Johanningman, and for over 25 years, I have helped hundreds and hundreds of people find career fulfillment and new directions in their lives, and have been doing that part-time with a side business, but would love to get back into doing it full-time.
And anyone who's got you on their team is so lucky because you are just amazing.
And Elizabeth and I are part of a mutual admiration club.
It's true. Okay, would anyone else like to give an example of their elevator pitch? It's really helpful for us all to hear what different pitches could sound like. And I hope everybody has one. And you can also put it in the chat if you don't want to like say it out loud today, which is totally fine. Shannon's pitch is I'm a member of the Jeff and Elizabeth fan club, apparently.
Sorry, that wasn't quite it. That was me responding to Jeff.
I mean, that's a valid job. Our fan
Sure.
club needs a lot of management. They are unruly.
But the pay is terrible.
I'd be happy to share mine since mine
Awesome.
isn't about helping people find jobs.
Great.
I help companies and sales leaders boost revenue and increase sales with incentive plan automation.
Nice. Great. I definitely you tell how you're helping and what it is that you do. So I think that's anyone have any other comments for that one?
I mean, I think there are a lot of people in Launchpad who probably heard variations of my pitch. Excuse me. But no one really knows or understands what SPM is, though if they've met me, they've probably heard that acronym. But I think that pretty well encapsulates it. And if I were standing with a CEO or some sort of sales leader in an elevator, even for a floor or two, I think that would they would know exactly what I do. So
And that's so critical is audience awareness, knowing who is the pitch for? Do they understand it? If it's for someone who is in your field, who's going to know what those words mean, use them. If it's a pitch that's going to be for someone who maybe isn't as familiar with the specifics of your job, finding a way to use more layman's terms so they can understand it is also great. But since you'd be pitching to someone who knows what you do means, then yes, absolutely using the right terminology is a great strategy. So we've had some time to practice our pitches. And one thing that I recommend is that in the new year, as you are getting back into the job market or trying to refresh it, if you have a pitch that hasn't been working for you, work on it. Think about who is the audience for this pitch? Like, who am I trying to talk to? Who am I trying to make an impression on? Does my pitch work? Do people understand what I mean? Does my pitch show a little bit of who I am? So one thing about my pitch that I'm still working on is really conveying both the work I do and what I bring. That I bring humor, that I bring energy, that I bring passion. How can I show that in this little tiny pitch that these are parts of my personality? I struggled with, do I include what a big geek I am? Do I include that I have a theater background? Or do I only include that I work in career services and that I have most of my experience comes with working with adults with ESOL, which is English as speakers of other languages. And yes, that has been a great benefit in working with career services because obviously interviewing, ESOL background, awesome for that. Resume, ESOL background, awesome for that. So bringing those things to the table, that's why I included in my pitch, even though I'm not trying to work in ESOL anymore. but wondering like how much more of my personality or what I bring should I include in that pitch? And so that's kind of I think the struggle I personally have with my pitch is how much function and how much flavor. So if your pitch isn't working, figure out if you've got the right balance of function and flavor. If the people you're speaking with about who you are understand what you're bringing to the table and have that clear picture. If I were pitching at a convention or something geek related, I would definitely want to include that I love to play Dungeons and Dragons, that I love to do gamification with my students, that I read sci-fi and fantasy, that I am obsessed with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, I would include those things because that's going to make those people connect with me. But in a meeting like this, where I don't really know if you're a bunch of geeks, maybe it wouldn't be relevant. Maybe you don't know what D&D even means, or maybe you would think I'm satanic, which also maybe if I'm at a satanic meeting, I'd want to mention that. I mean, you're going to really think about, which I'm not, I'm actually a Unitarian Universalist, but you want to think about the audience and who you're pitching to and how you can connect with them personally. If you have if you have something in common with them, if you know that, looking at them, trying to feel out, do we have anything that I can connect with you on so that you're not just a job title, you're a person they're going to remember. So first thing that the next thing we're going to talk about is energy, which you probably all figured out I have. So building energy, where I get my background in that is from theater, from having done live performance. I've done trivia hosting or pub quiz hosting, as Jeff knows. I've done burlesque and drag. I've done regular old, on the stage, Shakespeare. I've done puppeteering. I've done all kinds of theater. And so in that, I had to learn how to build, control, and give my energy to other people. Theater is not my career. It is my hobby, but it's still something that I can bring into my career because harnessing that energy. So I'm so excited you have your videos on today because we are going to do some energy builders right now, and I'm going to giggle watching you do it. So one that I love to do, one thing you have to think about is warming up your whole body, your voice, your mind. So first we're going to warm up our faces, because when we are pitching to people or interviewing, warming up your face is important because you want to show your enthusiasm for the position. Because employers, hirers, they want to see that you want this job, that you're excited to be on their team. So our first warm up is called big face, baby face, gross chew. And yes, it is as goofy as it sounds. Everyone's going to make a big face like this. And now a baby face. And now a big face. A baby face, little squidgy face. And now I want you to think you're chewing the grossest, sticky, really get that jaw working. Cliff, where's that jaw? I see you. So warming up your face is an important way to make sure that you show enthusiasm and that you, it'll help you with your speaking, your pronunciation, your enunciation. Warming up that jaw, those points of articulation will make you speak more clearly and will make you look more enthusiastic. That's something that we've done a lot in theater. Another one, which is so fun and so silly, I just call it the up down. So first you reach up and you make a high noise like this. You go down to the floor and then go back down. So you're warming up your voice. And remember, y'all, I have a master's degree in this, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm a linguist. You're warming up your voice, you're warming up your body, your face, you're bringing that energy back, right? And if you laugh at yourself, even better, because you are really getting yourself prepared for the performance of the interview, or you're just building that energy back up to keep you going for the applying for jobs, for whatever it is that you need more energy. So the old up, down. Now, I always tell my students, you can do this virtually before a virtual interview. I wouldn't do it in the room when you're about to interview. I wouldn't like say, hold a second, let me get my energy up and do that. Depending on the position, that might be a little strange, but I have done it in a bathroom before an interview. I've done it in my car, just sitting down. I've done it outside, just kind of getting my body moving. Another thing that I recommend people do is pick a jam. Your jam, your pump up jam, that song that makes you feel confident, that makes you laugh, that reminds you of a good time. Put it on and dance. Just dance to your pump up jam before you go into that interview, before you sit down, or when you're taking a break from applying. Put on that song that makes you feel good and give it a dance and move your body, because that's going to help build that energy. Picking up a pump up jam. So I'm curious, does anyone have a pump up jam that they already know they are going to use? What's your pump up jam? Mine is either We Are Golden or Stay High by Mika. I'm a huge Mika fan. He's a European pop artist I just am like obsessed with. And he has these really fun songs that are very up and happy and optimistic. Although if you examine the lyrics, sometimes it can get a little dark, but the sound is very exciting. Does anyone else have a pump up jam that they'd like to just type in the chat? I'm not going to make you sing it. Don't worry. This is not karaoke.
Kind of hard to believe you need a pump up jam, but at least I learned one thing. I'm going to blame my high energy on the theater.
Yes, exactly.
I think mine is literally Elvis Costello's Pump It Up.
Pump it up. Yeah, that's great. So it's funny that someone mentioned you can't believe I need a pump up jam. Accurate. I'm the kind of person that has a little bit too much energy sometimes. And so now I'm going to talk to you guys about controlling energy. So if you're like me and you already have a lot of energy, or in an interview, you get nervous. And so you start talking really fast and you're kind of a little bit, and that's where sometimes having too much energy you need to bring it into control. And I love these pump up jams in the chat. Keep them coming. So to control your energy, I have some suggestions. You can do breathing techniques. So a breathing technique I actually learned when I was not from theater, but from when I was pregnant. I learned some breathing techniques to use for when you are having a baby and things are going a little wild. And it's called box breathing, which some of you may have heard of before. That's where you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. And then breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. So we're all going to do that now. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Now, there are a lot of different breathing techniques that you can find. Just search online. That's one that has really worked for me, is doing that box breathing where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 4. Helping to bring my energy into my control so that I'm not talking too fast or moving around too much whenever I'm feeling a little too energized or maybe nervous. Another great way to control energy is through yoga. I know some people hear yoga, they think, I'm not going to put my leg over my head. What are you talking about? Like, that's nuts. No, there's some very simple, easy yoga poses that can help you to bring that energy, build the energy, but control the energy. And I always recommend that if you are able, that you look up sun salutations. There are a very simple series of yoga poses. There are variations of them that can work for different abilities, but sun salutations are really nice, calming yoga flow that most people can do, that help me to bring that energy under control so that I'm not frenetic in an interview, and instead I'm bringing a good amount of controlled positive energy. I would love to know if any of you have an energy building or controlling technique that you like to use. I'm happy to have those shared in the chat. Groove in the Heart is an amazing pump up jam, by the way. I love that one. I'm just looking at the chat. So does anyone else have an energy building or controlling technique that works for them? besides random theater stretches, dancing, breathing, and yoga? How do you build your energy or control your energy?
I have a stationary bike at home, and I will ride it for 30 minutes, probably an hour or two before an interview or an informational interview, and it just gets me. I mean, it increases my energy unbelievably, and it's good for mental health. It's like
Yeah.
Prozac. Mm-hmm.
That sounds amazing. Lucky that you have that tool that you can use. That's great. I would be like, hey, jobs are great. I like to work here, please. But I'm really glad that you have that resource. That's awesome. So a lot of people, as I've worked as a career coach, I've found that a lot of people don't have any sort of ritual that they do before they go through an interview, informational interview, or phone screen. And I highly recommend that in the new year, you find a ritual that works for you, that helps you to get your mindset, to build that energy so that you are able to present your best self and your enthusiasm. We all get nervous, even me. I know, even me. And so finding ways to channel that energy into an image that's going to work for you is going to help you to present yourself the best way that you can. So we've talked about the energy of your body, your face, your voice, your mouth, your body, but what about the energy of your mind? Ooh, Millie, I love power poses. Those are so fun. So to build energy in your mind, when I first heard of positive affirmations, it was my therapist who had suggested it. And I thought, okay, I know that I'm quirky. I get it. But that just seems a little, However, because I pay her so much money, I was like, fine, I'll try. And I have loved it, honestly. Writing some positive affirmations that I say to myself to interrupt anxious thoughts, insecure thoughts, negative thoughts, even if it's just, I can't do this. I've been trying for so long. How am I ever going to do it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't have a job. Whatever it is, writing some positive affirmations so I can stop and say, no, I am competent. I am worthy. I am taking the right steps to reach my goals. Looking myself in the mirror and saying those words and seeing me tell myself has helped me so much, especially in this last 2 years, as I've had a lot of mental health struggles, as many of you have. So I would encourage you, in fact, I'm going to make you, come up with a couple of positive affirmations. These are things, and now for positive affirmation, it should be said in present tense, I am, right? Not I want to, not I will, not I wish, I am. And I would like to give you guys 2 minutes to write 2 positive affirmations for yourself. If you are comfortable sharing them in the chat, I'd love to see them. However, I understand these can be very personal and I'm not going to make anyone share them. But we're going to take 2 minutes to think of some positive affirmations for yourself for 2022. I am capable. I have value. That is beautiful. I am highly entertaining. Yes, you are. I can affirm that because I know you. I am a great connector. That's great. That's a great trait. I am perfectly imperfect. So these are really beautiful. I love them. Make sure you write them down. I would even say on a piece of paper with your own hand and post them so you can see them. Because that's what I typed mine, but I have mine so that I can see them all the time. And if I start to feel negative, I try to touch back with, this is who I am, right? I am reliable. I am worthy. I am competent. I can do anything. I am making a difference.
Good enough, smart enough, and people just plain like me.
And gosh darn it, people like me. Exactly. Yeah, so I know that when we're on the job market, we can have a lot of negative energy, negative space, negative thoughts. It is devastating to lose a job sometimes. It is. It can really, especially in our capitalist hellscape that we live in, it can feel like you're not worthy because no one is paying you if you have no salary, what are you worth? And one of my best friends had this problem when she was laid off after doing an amazing job, but she was laid off because of COVID. And she just kept telling me, I don't think I'm worth anything because nobody wants to hire me. So I'm not worth anything. And I was like, we need to work on dispelling those feelings because it is capitalist brainwashing, my friend. Like, let's work on what are you? Who are you? You are kind. You are a hard worker. You are worthy. Even if you're not currently employed, that does not ruin everything good about you. I'm willing and able to learn new software. Great. I am collaborative, detail-oriented, technically inclined, and medical writer. I mean, you almost got an elevator pitch there. That's great. So, yes, again, when I first heard about these, I thought, okay, that's a little fluffy. But then I started to use them and to look myself. And I tried doing it with my phone one time. It's not the same. The selfie cam is not the same. You got to look in the mirror. So you are looking into your eyes and you are telling yourself, you are dispelling those negative thoughts, that voice in your head that says, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm annoying. I'm too wacky. I am too scatterbrained. No, I am worthy. I am kind. I am confident. I can do anything. I am making a difference. I am taking the steps I need to reach my goals, right? So try it out and just write them down, post them next to your mirror. For a while, when I was really in a negative spot, I actually had my phone go off every couple of hours and say an affirmation, say an affirmation, say an affirmation to remind me to start reprogramming so that I would be in a positive space instead of a self-doubting space. And it really has helped. You know, whether it's going to help you get a job or not, it will help you feel better. It'll help you have the energy to keep moving forward, to have the confidence to get in those interviews and knock them out. Especially if you're about to have an interview, say your affirmations. Remind yourself how amazing you are. Now, we've talked about what we are. Now, how do we demonstrate that? With your resume and your interview, right? Let's talk about how to refresh your materials. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are kind. You are competent. You are skilled. Let's show them, right? So in a new year, it's time to bring some new energy to those old materials. If your resume isn't getting you job interviews, it's time to refresh it. It's time to bring something new to it. One way, the first way, a suggestion I have is to write a fresh headline. So the headline is right under your contact information. A thing that people are doing is writing a headline that's almost like, and again, this is my English nerd side coming out. It's like the thesis statement, right? That the rest of the article supports. The sentence that encapsulates why you are the perfect fit for this particular position. I recommend that you freshen your headline up anytime you're applying for a new job. If there are ways you can tailor it to be even more specific to the job you are trying to get. A great example of a headline that a student in one of my classes used, and she gave me permission to share it. I'm going to put it in the chat. Her headline was Dynamic Brand Invigorator, who blends organizational vision with market trends and consumer needs. 5 years of experience designing and launching a consistent voice and image that connects with target audiences, triggers familiarity, and boosts metrics. Whoa. She really took who she is and what she does and the most important things that she brings and puts them right on the top of the page. This is your too long didn't read summary. Don't miss this is what you're saying with that headline. You're saying, hey, recruiter, don't miss this. This is who I am. This is what I bring. Working on a headline that really shows who you are, like what your brand is, and the most important thing that you bring is going to really help a recruiter immediately see the value that you bring and why they should continue to look at your resume versus go, okay, sure. Having cliche things isn't really going to help. Having very general isn't really going to help. You want to be specific. Another tactic you can take is if you have some really big star items on your resume, those like braggable things, put those right up on top. Make sure they do not miss them. Don't bury the lead. Really show off who you are right on top, right under your name. So if you don't have a headline or you have kind of a headline you've been using for a while, I recommend that you work with a friend, a partner, or a job coach like me to reinvigorate that headline and bring something new to it. Another thing you can do that we're going to actually do in this session is amp up your job duties with PAR statements. PAR stands for problem, action, result. And it doesn't have to be in that order. But instead of just a job duty, actually having an accomplishment statement in your resume is going to make a huge difference. And we're going to look at those in a moment. JobScan, which was referenced earlier, is another great resource you can use to target your resume. So as someone mentioned before, there are the robots who are trying to block any candidate that's not worthy in their opinion, just because you didn't have the right magic words. I did a job scan with my best friend, one of my another great friend of mine, when she was working on getting a new job. And she said, this feels like cheating. Like, I can't believe this is okay. And I'm like, it's not cheating. You just didn't know the rules. There are rules to a resume that we don't even see because we are not computers. I mean, I don't know, maybe some of you are computers, but I'm not a robot. So I don't understand how the robot works. So your resume has two audiences. It has the robot's audience that's going to scan your resume and kick you out if you don't have the exact right phrasing on it. And then it has the person audience who's going to look at it and go, wow, look at these skills. Look at this banging statement. Look how amazing this person is. But first, you got to beat the robots like Yoshimi beating the pink robots. You've got to do that to get to the human being who's actually going to hire you. And JobScan is a great way to do that. It is not free, but you get a few free scans. But if you work with me, I can get you a premium account for free. So we'll talk more about how you can work with me later. Spoiler alert, I work for a free community program, so you can work with me for free and I can get you a premium service. So come and see me after class. So we're going to talk about those. Also, we're going to talk about your resume. First of all, creating a pre-interview ritual. Like I mentioned before, many people I've talked to don't have one. They just, okay, I've got my outfit on and go to the interview. Think of an interview as a performance, right? You prepare your lines because you've got your stories you're going to tell. You prepare your body by doing some warm-ups, by getting into the right mindset, and then you go on to the stage and perform. Now, not quite so dramatic as that. You want to be natural. But if you don't prepare for the performance, if you're like me, you're going to get lost. You're going to forget your lines. You're going to be totally like, psyched out. You've got to prepare for that performance in creating your own pre-interview ritual. I've had students who told me the ritual is they go, if it's a online or a phone screen, they go stand in the grass in their bare feet for 5 minutes before to connect with the earth. That could be your ritual. It could be calling someone important and having them remind you how valuable you are to them. It could be doing a series of wacky theater warm-ups. Whatever it is, you need to have a ritual that's going to help you feel that you are ready to go. I also recommend that you create some new star stories. What's a star story, you say? Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you all about it. A star story stands for situation, task, action, result, and we will talk more about that in a moment. But it's a story that you have crafted that really shows off some of your skills that you can use for a variety of questions. And again, we'll get to that in more detail. Last thing, so beginning of the year, a lot of people got new clothes for Christmas, packed up some old things, dropped them to the thrift store. This is the time to get some new clothes for cheap. I know that when we're on the job market, often we are struggling financially. And so hit up the thrift store. This shirt, I got it at the thrift store and it makes me feel amazing. It's a really cute professional button down. I'd really been wanting to incorporate more masculine items. I am gender fluid into my wardrobe. So I hit up the men's section of the thrift store. I got a new bow tie. I love it. These are things that are going to help me feel confident. Things that I had not invested in before because I thought, like spending money on clothes. I don't know. However, think of it as an investment in you. And if you get at the thrift store, it's not even that expensive. Go hit them up now while people have given away some gently used but still amazing items to make room for their new Christmas clothes that they got. Because trust me, they did. And they gave away some great stuff because they're dumb. And now it's yours. Goodwill, a great place to go. We're sponsored by Goodwill, right? Goodwill, a great place to go. I actually did a Goodwill boutique on Far West and got some great clothes. So Highly recommend it. So we talked a little bit about duties and accomplishments. How can you freshen up that resume? So an example of a duty, we used to always just put your duties. What did you do? Okay, sure. Worked in a restaurant, or I'm sorry, worked with employees in a restaurant setting. That's an example of a duty you could put on a resume. Now imagine you're a hiring manager. What does that actually tell you the candidate did? Not much. I actually had a student who had attended weekly meetings on her resume. Attended weekly meetings. Okay, like, what does that tell me? It doesn't tell you anything. However, if you really think deep, what did I do when I worked in this with these employees? Who were the employees in a restaurant setting? What kind of restaurant? What questions, if you were the hiring manager, what questions would you have? Look at your resume from the eyes of someone else, or have a friend do it, or have a job coach like me do it. Really look at your resume and what questions does it spark? So an example of an accomplishment you could write out of this duty is recruited, hired, trained, and supervised more than 20 employees in a restaurant with 2 million in annual sales. That tells you a whole lot more, right? A whole lot more about what you were doing. Another example, generated 1 million in sales within the first 6 months of starting. Okay, first of all, yay you, that's awesome, but how? Doing what? And is that actually good? I mean, 1 million in sales. I mean, if you're selling bow ties, awesome. But if you're selling some things that are very expensive, that might not be very good. So you need to create context so that the recruiter and the hiring manager understands what you're actually doing. So an example of how to make that into an accomplishment could be generated 1 million and reversed 2 years of declining sales within 6 months of starting. How? By aligning the sales and marketing team strategies. So you've taken this accomplishment that looks okay, but you've given it more context, more information so that they understand that that was actually very impressive. It was good. It helped the company. And how did you do it? Was it just random? You were just lucky? No, it was by doing with your strategy. Again, this method is called the PAR method, P-A-R, problem. I'm going to type that, action and result. And in this one, you can see the problem was the declining sales. The action was aligning the sales teams and marketing strategy, and the result was the increase in sales. Also notice that PAR is not in order. That was something I hate to admit, I really struggled with at first. I would try to write them so that they were PAR, and it was awkward. I was like, no, let me set you free. It could be ARP, ARP. It could be RAP, RAP, whatever works for your statement. But look, I want you, when we're done, to look at your resume, look at each item and say, is this impressive? Does this really tell anybody something? Does this spark more questions? And is there a way I can concisely give more context, give more information? So that is how to work up from duties to accomplishments. Now, star stories. And after this, I'm going to make you guys write a PAR or star. So be ready for it. Oh yeah, there's an assignment. I'm a teacher. Of course, there's an assignment. So why a star story? A star story helps you focus and lets you prepare to easily and confidently answer questions in an interview. Sometimes we are pivoting into positions that seem to have nothing in common. Ask me how I know. So how can we show our transferable skills? So besides going from teaching ESL to career services, which seemed like for me at the time seemed like a strange transition. Before that, I actually went from working in a deli to working in education. Working in a deli, making sandwiches, to working in education. Now, what stories from my time in a deli could I use in an interview to show what kind of team member I am, to show how I have skills that are going to help serve the students, right? And I'm sure many of you are going to be making transitions from jobs that seem to have nothing in common. So here's my star story. I worked at a deli making sandwiches for customers. And we had a huge spread of lots of options of different kinds of meats and cheeses and spreads. It was awesome. However, people would come in, they would look at the options, they would freeze, and they would order turkey and cheddar, and then they would never come back. So one afternoon, I decided to write a menu. Yes, we didn't have a menu. I decided to write a menu with lots of different interesting combinations using the ingredients that we had on hand. And I gave them fun names, and I just brought them to my boss and said, hey, I made a menu. Can we use it? And she said, yes, that's awesome. Thank you. So we started offering it to customers, and much to my glorious joy, people started ordering my sandwiches. They would come in, they would choose, they could even, make little alterations. I don't care, I don't got ego. Alter it how you need to. They would order the sandwiches and be so happy. And then they would come back for my sandwiches. My team was happy, my customers were happy, and I felt really proud to be spreading so much sandwich joy. So that's an example of how I take initiative, how I use creativity, how I notice customers' needs, how I solve problems, how I go above and beyond, anytime in an interview, they could ask me, tell about a time you took initiative, tell about a time you went above and beyond, tell about a time you used critical thinking skills or problem solving. I can use that story about making sandwiches, right? So yes, no matter what your job background history is, you have done amazing things, even if you don't realize it. You have taken initiative. You have gone above and beyond. You have been creative. And maybe it may seem like, how am I going to get this new career as an educator when I've only had jobs making sandwiches? Think about those things that you did and set yourself free. You have done amazing things. Brag about them. So that is how you do a star story. Now, we are going to write a par or a star story right now. You can either take a skill that people are going to be asking you about, so taking initiative or leadership or problem solving, or you can use the NACE competencies if you just want to grab one of those. What are the NACE competencies, you ask? Oh, thanks for asking. The National Association of Colleges and Employers it's colleges that work with employers to talk about what are the most important skills that people who are hiring want. Now, these are very general, and underneath these there are specific things. And if you take my class, I'll help you more with that. But you're welcome to use any of these or describe a skill that people in your field are interested about. And I would like to give you guys 5 minutes to think up a duty on your resume and write a PAR statement. So problem, action, result, problem, however you want to do it, that demonstrates how you use that skill. Or think of a star story, a time that you did something on the job or in volunteer work or in your college time that demonstrates a skill. All right, right off the bat, we have an amazing one. Lead team of 9 senior leaders in full life cycle recruitment of diverse candidates, which increased mid to senior level roles by 7%. Snaps to you. That's really well done. Shows that you actually made a great impact, increasing roles. Tells how you did it by leading the full cycle recruitment. I love that you include that these were diverse candidates. Love that. And you have a number. They love numbers. I'm told that recruiters love numbers. I'm not a numbers person myself, but I'm told if you can have numbers, put numbers. That's great. That's an awesome example. Thank you for starting us off with a home run. Would anyone else feel comfortable sharing either a PAR statement or accomplishment that they would put on their resume, or telling a star story that they could tell in an interview? Okay, we've got another one. Founded one of the country's first alumni career services. Whoa. Providing over 67,000 members with workshops, individual career consulting, personality assessments, online job listings, and an alumni network database. Wow, that is really great. Yeah, you got to come work with me. I mean, I do know that we have a goal of expanding career services over the next few years. I don't know if it'll be in time for us to snatch you up, but I would not be mad about it. Data remediation project.
I have a star story.
Okay, go ahead, please. I'd love to hear it.
So I was working at a retirement facility off Breaker, in Austin. And during the ice storm last year, driving to work from Georgetown, my chef calls me and he says, we don't have any employees here, just one employee. It's a large facility with over 300 residents. So I got addresses from him, and I had a 4-wheel drive. We're the only ones that had 4-wheel drives. So I went and picked up employees, brought them to work so they could work. And then I ended up putting them up in rooms at the facility so they could spend the night. And they also had their relatives come and stay in the rooms because power was out. So there wasn't any heat in people's houses. So not only did the employees spend the night, but the relatives spend the night. And they were probably there for like 3-4 days till he came back on. And we had employees, they would just come to work in the morning, just come down from the room, come to work. That was my star story.
That is a great story. Don't forget to stick that result. So as a result, my employees were safe during the ice storm. The residents were fed. I saved the day. Don't forget in that star story, you really want to stick that result, but that is a wonderful story, showing that you've got a great heart, that you go above and beyond, that you do what you need to do to take care of your people, that you get the job done. That is an awesome story.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do say one thing I've noticed when coaching star stories, and I do it too, is sometimes we forget to really land on that result and explicitly say it. As a result, my customers were happy. As a result, I increased things that needed to be increased. As a result, my manager gave me a trophy, a bigger trophy than Jeff has even. It's a really big trophy. I just didn't want to make him feel bad. That's why it's not on the screen. As a result, right? You really want to let them know what the result was. These are great. Let's see here. Data remediation project on overpaying insurance sales staff led the team with a budget of $500K. We remediated and managed the data cleansing and import of data into an SPM system to save 5 to 6 million in overpayments every year. See, great result. People are going to see that and go, I want that guy on my team. That guy on my team. And one thing that I've learned is if you have something like that, like saved all this money, bold it. Like that one line, just go ahead and bold that on your resume. If you have a really impressive moment, I've seen some student resumes where they will just go ahead and the rest of the sentence is just normal text, but they will bold that, saved the company all this money, increased the sales all this much. So that pops out at the eye and they don't miss it. You want to make sure that those impressive things are not missed. They don't get lost in the noise. You may even, something like that, where you saved a ton of money for the company or you increased something, you could even put that on the top of your resume under an accomplishments section, something like that. So.
Or restructure, thanks, Elizabeth. Restructure the sentence so the bold saved $5 to $6 million in overpayments to the front of the sentence so that it catches the eye.
Absolutely. Yes. You want to highlight those things. You want to assume that whoever's reading your resume the first time is busy, stressed, trying to get through them, and you want to make it as easy as possible. You want to take those beautiful, most perfect things, beautifully plate them on a silver dish and serve them right up and even spoon feed it to them so that they don't have any problem accessing what makes you amazing and qualified. Thank you, Shannon, for saving for sharing your triumph. Your triumph.
It was the beginning of me being what I consider to be the leader I am today. It was just self-initiative, self-interest, because we didn't want other people to cut us in our line. And I was shocked that, I was 21 and there were people that were like 10 years older than us arriving, and I'm just ordering everybody around. But because of that, everybody got what they needed in the end, and it worked out well. Of course, now you have to buy from some ticket scalper. So, those were the good old days, I guess.
And there were scalpers back then too. They just were physically in person.
True.
All right. So great. So all of you, these are some great stories. And I hope part of your plan, one of your New Year's resolutions for your career would be to think of some more of these stories. Tell them to your friends, tell them to your career coach. tell them to me. And work on really practicing them, building them up. When I would go into interviews before I learned the STAR method, which was actually taught to me by a career coach before I got this job, I used a coach to get this job. It was kind of a weird, very meta, right? Like I had this interview, I was interested. I talked about it on my Facebook. One of my friends who is a career coach reached out and said, hey, I'd love to like coach you. I know you're excited about this new job. What is it? I explained it. She goes, that's my job. Not literally, she doesn't work at ACC. She's like, oh, that's my job. I was like, great. Then you should be able to coach me to get it. And she taught me about STAR stories and it changed the game for me because I had never heard of such a thing. I just thought, oh, I'm good at talking to people. I'll just go in and talk about things. And I would just forget what the question was, talk in circles, blank out, and STAR stories, having them ready and prepared to go made a huge difference for me. And that's why I love to teach people about them. The next thing we're going to do is set an intention. Now, an intention is a general statement. It's something that you want for your life, that you need. And setting a positive intention is another strategy to overcome that self-doubt and negative self-talk that we all get into sometimes. Keep your eyes on the prize, on the goals. Replace the negative voices that says you cannot with the voices that remind you that you can and that you will. So we're just going to take a moment real quick. It's kind of similar to an affirmation, but a little bit more aspirational. For me, one that I use is I am calm. Right? It's a bit aspirational. I am calm for sure. My intention is to be a calmer, more focused person. I am confident. That is true for me. But some of you, maybe you're working on confidence. And so before an interview, if your intention is to be confident for your interviews in 2022, just saying, I'm confident. I am open to great career opportunities, which I know we all are. Even those of us who love our job, we're open to great career opportunities, right? So you can share it with the group if you'd like, or you can just keep it for yourself. But I would encourage you to have an intention set for 2022 that reflects your career aspirations. And just moving on, so I'm trying to keep it within an hour for you guys. So how do you make these intentions happen? Of course, saying them out loud, speaking them into the universe, maybe that works. Also, though, you can make your intentions come true by setting some goals, right? So an intention is like, I want to get it. I will have a job. I am employed. I am open to great opportunities. That's an intention. It's not really a goal. A SMART goal is a very specific, actionable plan. I would encourage you, instead of setting New Year's resolutions, to actually set some SMART goals. How many of you have worked with SMART goals before? Some? Okay, a mix? Great, then I'll go over it for you. A SMART goal is a plan that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So I want to get a job is not a SMART goal, right? It's too general. It's not specific. Within getting a job, though, you can set specific SMART goals, like I want to have a working resume by the end of the week. I want to have 4 STAR stories by the next 2 weeks. I want to work with a career coach. I want to have applied for 5 jobs a week by the end of the month, things like that. So let me tell you my 2022 career SMART goal, and then we're all going to set some SMART goals. My 2022 career SMART goal is to increase student follow-up, ask for the best email address and email them 3 months after the class, so that at least 35% of the students I coach let me know that I helped them reach their career goal. So it's specific, right? I have a specific number in mind. I have thought about what items I can do to reach my goal. I want to increase my, I want to have at least 35% of students I coach let me know that I helped them reach their goal. It's measurable. 35% is a number I can measure. I can track how many people do I work with and how many of them reach back to me to let me know they reached their goal. It is attainable because last year, I started this job in April. From April to December, I had 27% of the students that I worked with report back to me over 9 months that they had reached their goal, whether it's getting a job or promotion. So I figure with 3 extra months of coaching, all the expertise I have now, and a plan, a 30% increase on top of that is attainable, something I can actually do. Relevant? Yes, it is relevant to my career. And time-based? Yes, it is time-based. I have 1 year to complete it. And importantly, I have every 3 months in which I'm going to do something to make this plan work. So that is my SMART goal. And by showing you how to make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, I hope that will help you to set a SMART goal. Now, in the strategies class, we set goals for the week, the month, and the quarter. I would like for you to choose. You can either set a goal for this week, for this month, or for this quarter. A year goal is a little bit more, I think, challenging unless you have something very specific. Like I knew I had a metric I needed to move. If you have a metric you want to move in the year, you can choose that. But I would encourage you guys to think of a goal for either this week, this month, or this quarter. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to type down your SMART goal for the week, month, or quarter. Jeff, I really love that you have kind of a twofold plan of both like productivity and also like mental health, right? Like mental health and growing networking, of course, is so critical in job opportunities. But I like that you're like 10 openings a week, so I know I'm actually like cranking out those applications, but also connecting with people, continuing to do that important work, because as they say, like 70% of jobs is through networking. So you got to build that network.
Oh, there's definitely network goal in mind for that. Not just, it is great to get to see friends I've been meaning to reconnect with, but it's also a great way to just start expanding out my network.
Great. By March 31st, I will increase my mental health career coaching client base by 3 or more clients. Nice. James, do you have a specific plan for like what you will do to do that? Good. Yes, but he's not telling me. I'm keeping that. You're not going to take my client ideas. Great. I'm glad you have a plan. So activating that plan, that you have a specific plan in place to make that happen. Awesome. Because that is another thing. We'll have a goal, but if we don't have a plan, it's just kind of this shiny thing that looks nice, but it's not actually going to do anything. So I'm glad you have a plan. Use LinkedIn to network into 6 companies per week and have at least 3 connection meetings with friends and network per week. Great. Awesome. A weekly goal. So I encourage all of you as part of your career management plan for the new year to come up with some SMART goals for the next week, for the next month, and for the quarter, and to check in with yourself. And I just want to be clear, this is not a perfectionist thing. If you haven't made your goal, please don't beat yourself up, okay? So many things happen in life. Opportunities come at us. We never know they're going to. And anytime that you didn't meet your plan, just reconnect with yourself, figure out why you weren't able to make your goal, and make adjustments, right? Don't make accusations against yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just make some adjustments so that you can continue to move forward. Your SMART goal is not a tool of self-flagellation. It is a way to help keep you accountable and to keep you focused so that you have actionable items to check off to keep moving forward. So next, I would love to talk to you guys about my job, which is teaching a class called Strategies for Today's Jobs. It is a free class through ACC, a 4-week-long class that works on career exploration. So what am I even going to do next? I get a lot of people in the class who say, I've been doing this for a long time. I can't do it anymore, but I don't know what to do next. What do I do? And we have career counselors at ACC that I will refer you to if that's your situation that can help you work through that. What's next? We will work on building a great resume and a cover letter. Yes, and a cover letter. I am an English teacher. You will have a cover letter. And you will have a great one. You're going to be so proud. So resume and a cover letter. I will give you access to JobScan Premium as part of being in my course. We will do interview practice using both Big Interview system, which you will get free access to a premium interview skills website called Big Interview. And I love doing mock interviews, so I'm happy to coach you with that. There are networking opportunities in the class as you meet other people who are in the class with you, just like a job club, right? If you don't have a LinkedIn, you will have a LinkedIn. We work on building up a great LinkedIn and trying to keep up with what's new, what's hot in your particular area with LinkedIn. We also show you how to use Indeed if you don't know how to do that. And we even have a salary negotiation skills lesson, which I have been tremendously proud at how much I've seen people grow in their salaries using our salary negotiation skills techniques. Especially because a lot of times our class, the mission of our program is to, of course, help anyone who wants to come is welcome, but the heart of our mission is to help people, especially who face external barriers to employment based on systemic discrimination. And so using these tools to help give you a leg up, to help you get that salary you deserve and a job that you love is something that I'm really proud of. It is free to sign up. I'm teaching all virtually this semester, although there will be some in-person opportunities later in the spring if some of you would prefer an in-person class. And every month we start a new class at a different time and a different day combination. So hopefully there'll be something that works for you. If you sign up for the class, but you can't take my class because my schedule doesn't work, but you love me so much, I can still coach you as part of the program. So you still can come hang out with me. I just wouldn't necessarily be an instructor. So your takeaway today we did some energy builders and warm-ups to help you build and control that energy that you can both use to refresh your energy for continuing that job search, or to refresh your energy and improve your energy for walking into an interview and showing your best self. We worked on some positive affirmations, which will hopefully help you to dispel the negative thoughts that are going to be creeping in and help keep you in a positive mindset and build your confidence. We have a plan to refresh your job seeking materials, to work on a new fresh headline that really is that thesis statement that shows why you're the best fit for a specific position, and to refresh some of those duties to make them into accomplishments. Also to write some more star stories so that you can nail an interview. We've set a career intention of what your overarching goal is, and we have some specific SMART goals to help you meet that intention and make and achieve your goal. I've also told you about a free class with coaches to help you do all of those things. And I'm more than happy to coach any of you, even if you are quite experienced. It's always good to have someone else there to cheer you on and keep you moving forward. So why is my class open to 25 and some others is 15? I believe that is the difference of if it's a virtual course or if it's an in-person course. The in-person courses are limited to 15. The virtual courses are open to 25. Sliding in exactly 1 hour and 55 seconds, boom, according to my timer. Do you have any questions?
No question for me, but I am floored. That energy that you have put out into the Zoom sphere is just amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I agree, Shannon. Thank you. Great energy, Elizabeth. Great information. The energy almost overshadows the information. And,
that's why I've got to do yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to share one thing that's kept me going in the last year, and that is so I quit my micromanaging boss and soul destroying job in December of 2020. It took me about 8 months to feel truly human and wanting to work again. But the one thing that really kept me going is the things that I added in the last year, and some of the things that I did somehow got to the point where recruiters were really reaching out and contacting me, even though they did not really get what I do. They wanted a programming solutions architect, not a low code, no code sales performance management solutions architect. And just having those recruiters call, want 15 minutes of time, or reach out with a job really kept me going. It was really nice it was better almost than a positive affirmation. I don't do my own positive affirmations too much, but I guess everybody would tell you I have quite a bit of confidence. But having others affirm me really made a huge difference under all the BS, the COVID, the being burnt out, and then I had, the COVID pandemic, but then I got COVID in December and it gave me a stroke and I spent some time in the hospital and I'm recovering from that, but still these recruiters are reaching out. So if you can do your resume or your LinkedIn so that recruiters will reach out to you, I think it's a huge plus. Easier said than done, though. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's great. And part of the strategies course, we have an entire day on LinkedIn where we go through LinkedIn. We talk about what's the newest, what's the up to date. We look at, I even encourage people to look within their own field, find field leaders in their field or people they admire in the position that they're looking for, and not copy, but emulate, right? And see like, what are they doing and how can I make my LinkedIn really show who I am as a professional? My LinkedIn currently is very shiny because I got lots of emojis and stuff to kind of represent that I am kind of a living, breathing, walking emoji. So I would not say that everyone needs to put a lot of emojis on their LinkedIn. Let me be clear, but having your LinkedIn reflect you as the personal side of who you are as a professional is a great way to kind of show who you are and connect the human being that you are with the resume that you have. And I'm so glad to hear that you've been getting a lot of positive feedback. And please, you should give yourself some affirmations. Come on. I don't know.
I
you
probably
guys.
should. You're right.
Probably great. You seem great.
One of the things that's really overlooked on LinkedIn too, I think, is the about section.
Yes.
I put my elevator pitch at the start of the about section. And people are like, oh, why do I do an elevator pitch? I'm never going to run into a CEO in an elevator. But people want to know what you do, and you have to have a clear way to explain it. And with what I do, people don't know or get it. But having that in the about, maybe having some of my stories or other things in the about, and then I put a ton of keywords in the about. And that really seems to help. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
you can kill
Putting
two
your
birds
elevator
with
pitch there is a great idea. Great
you can
strategy.
kill two birds with one stone by aligning your resume with your LinkedIn. But I haven't found anybody who, they ask for the resume, but I never get questions on the resume, almost only questions on the LinkedIn.
Yeah, one of my friends who works in recruiting in the Austin area, especially in tech, she told me a lot of times they don't even want a resume anymore. They just want to see your LinkedIn. And I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, it depends on the field, right? It depends on what field are you in, where are you trying to get a job, but LinkedIn is becoming more and more critical for certain industries. And so I recommend everyone have one. I had one even before it was relevant for my field, just because I love social media.
I think I was on Facebook in 2004 or 5 when I went back to college, and then LinkedIn was either before or right around that time. So
I have a question, Elizabeth.
Yes. Oh,
Hi.
go ahead.
It's Millie Flannery. I've taken the course at ACC, actually twice, but not the strategies for job search strategies, the pre-story. Can I still see you as a coach since I've been through the program?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
If you've been through the program, you always have access to the coaches. So come on down. Come on down and see me.
Because it looks like for my schedule, the 6 to 8 session starting April 18th would be better for me. So I might retake it. Since it's changed so much, I hear it's changed a lot.
I don't know. I've only been working there since April, so I've only been in this iteration.
Gotcha. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Of course. I look forward to seeing you. And you can email me. If you email me, I'll send you my coaching calendar. Elizabeth, you're all going to be shocked at what my email address is. It's so shocking. It's Elizabeth@austinCC.edu.
Great. Thank you.